Roughly 1/3 to half of the world's population is made up of introverts. Introversion is commonly misunderstood today with many stereotypes and myths surrounding it. Luckily, however, with the help of the ever-evolving fields of science and technology, there has been a lot of research done that justifies introverts' tendencies, habits, and needs. Here are some facts about introverts you probably didn't know. Fact number 1. There are 4 types of introverts. Researcher Jonathan Cheek states that it's impossible for there to only be one type of introvert out there. He surveyed roughly 500 participants, ranging from the ages of 18 to 70, and asked them questions pertaining to how much solitude they need and how often they daydream. From the answers he gathered, Cheek created a model that spells the acronym STAR that explains the 4 different types of introverts that exist. Number 1. Social. Social introversion is what is commonly accepted and understood as being the archetypal definition of introversion. People who identify as social introverts prefer small groups over large ones, or may prefer solitude altogether. According to Cheek, they like to stay at home with a book or computer, or hang out with close friends instead of going to parties with many unfamiliar faces. It's different, however, from shyness, because there's no anxiety attached to their driven needs of solitude. Number 2. Thinking. Thinking introversion is one of the newer concepts of introversion today. People who identify as thinking introverts are introspective, thoughtful, and self-reflective. Unlike social introverts, they don't have a strong need to stray from large social scenes. They're often avid daydreamers with rich imaginations and a high capacity for creativity. Number 3. Anxious. Anxious introverts seek time to be alone, because they often feel awkward and self-conscious. Unlike social introverts, anxious introverts experience painful shyness when they're around new people. The anxiety doesn't necessarily go away either when they're alone, because they let things play over and over again in their heads over what could have gone or went wrong. Number 4. Restrained. People who identify as restrained introverts function on a slower pace and prefer to think before they speak and act. They are also known for being reserved. Restrained introverts take time to get things going, because they don't let impulse affect their decision-making. Fact number 2. Introverts react quickly to new information, but are slower to monitor change. According to Australian psychologist John Brebner, the brains of introverts create more excitation in the phase of stimulus analysis when situations call for them to analyze what is required of them to do next. For instance, when a phone rings, introverts generate more excitation in their brains, whereas extroverts need to inhibit everything else going on in their heads in order to make a decision. When an introvert needs to prepare for action, however, they may hesitate longer to pick up the phone. An extrovert, on the other hand, answers the phone right away. While introverts are quick to reacting strongly to new situations, extroverts, in contrast, are quicker to register changes. Fact number 3. Introverts dread small talk. Psychologist Lori Helgo, author of Introvert Power: Why Your Inner Life is Your Hidden Strength, states that small talk blocks honest interaction. Introverts might come off as being disinterested in others, because they don't like taking part in small talk. But they only dread it because of the barriers it creates between them and others. Introverts want to feel connected. However, they prefer to make connections through authenticity. Deep and meaningful conversations are what they often crave for that help lower the walls. Fact number 4. Introverts need alone time. This goes back to fact number 1 for individuals who strongly identify as social introverts. According to research, the reason introverts need alone time is because they respond differently than extroverts due to rewards. Rewards include food, money, sex, and social status. Although introverts do care about eating, the income that they earn, and cultivating relationships with others, they are less driven and experience less enthusiasm for the possibilities of them. Extroverts, in contrast, are more energized by working for those rewards, which is why they are also prone to instant gratification more often than introverts. Fact number 5. Introverts aren't risk-averse, but they are more careful and calculated about what risks they choose to take. This is due to the biological makeup of the brain. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with sensation-seeking, risks, and new adventures. According to research, there is a difference of dopamine activity in the brains of introverts compared to those of extroverts. This isn't because introverts have less dopamine in their brains than extroverts. Both have the same amount. However, introverts use less activity from the region of their brain that generates dopamine.